2026 and large media companies still don't understand sports betting. At least that's what we think about the latest piece by The Atlantic. And from last week's episode, Kelly in Vegas had a very big response to what we said. We're going to break that down and give our thoughts there. Plus, cover a whole bunch of other topics here on Circle Back here on the Circles Off channel, which is part of the Hammer Betting Network. I'm your host here on Circle Back. My name is Jacob Gramegna. I'm a creator and producer here at The Hammer. Joining me for today's Monday live show is CEO of The Hammer, professional sports bettor Rob Pizzola. In the middle chair, replacing basketball originator Kirk Evans, it is host of The Hammer Daily, Jason Cooper. And in the left, it is the sophisticated square, Geoff Fienberg. What a show we have today. I said on Twitter it could get a little bit spicy, and I feel like it could based on a couple of the topics we have, but you never know where things are going to go today. But to start us off, let's settle in a bit. How was everyone's weekend? Big weekend of sports. World Baseball Classic, some golf, March Madness about to start. How are we feeling?
I got to tell you, for me, amazing weekend of sports. I consumed a ton of sports this weekend. My sleep schedule... Very thrown off from staying up for the Chinese Grand Prix at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning. But I thought this weekend had it all. The conference tournament games were fantastic. World Baseball Classic. I had, honestly, zero expectations for the World Baseball Classic as an event. And it turned into probably one of my favorite events of the year. We had a great finish with the players yesterday, which, by the way, Geoff... Yeah, I know you hate this. Yeah. I know you hate when we bring up your wins and you find it cringy. But I saw the tweet of your card that you had for the players. You had everyone in contention. You had basically the most sweat-free Sunday imaginable, and you hit the longest shot that you had on your card of the players in contention.
It was great. I was very happy.
Back to back?
No.
Well, 2 weeks ago.
Two out of three.
Okay.
But
2-1 last three golf events.
Yeah.
But the Florida swing ends this week, and it's always my favorite golf of the year. But it was good. Two of my favorite younger players. I don't know. Long story short, Ludwig's the choker, but Cam's the winner. But the thing is, I always have to answer questions for why they can't win. And now at least we got to stop with Cam. We'll keep doing it with Ludwig, but I'm a big Herbert stan, so we'll be an apologist till the end.
So Ludwig Ober, I like him predominantly because he plays fast. I just like he gets to the ball, he takes a half practice swing, he hits the ball within 5 seconds. Relative to some guys on tour who are taking forever. So I want to see the guy. I want to see him have a good career. I don't know. I find him very easy to root for, but I don't watch as much PGA as you do. But Ludwig Oberg, this guy, for the level of pro that he's at, he loses his swing completely at points at an event where he looks like a 40 handicap for 3 or 4 shots in a row, and he can't find it. And small sample, I remember it was the first event of the year. I think Oberg made a shot 7 or 8 over in the first round. This guy was hitting his irons. He was shanking irons multiple times in a row. I don't know what it is. It's just a very random golf thought, but I'm watching yesterday, and even going into yesterday, it's obviously easy to say all of this after the fact when you have the results available to you. But I didn't like it going into the day. Once he hit the first horrible shot into the water, it was just here we go. It's going to happen again. But it led to a pretty good back and forth between Young and Fitzy down the stretch. I thought it was a very entertaining players overall.
It was great.
Yeah.
That's good.
So big conversation from the players was the way the crowd were treating it was the non-American players. The non-Americans in America were getting a bit of stick from the crowd. Fitzpatrick was one of the players that had to speak out about this. And there was a lot of people that were complaining. People on Reddit saying the crowd of the players was totally classless. What has happened to this sport in recent years? We had Christopher Powers at CPowers14 say, Canadians cheering on Canadians in Canada. Oh, yeah, that's so nice, eh? We just love our guys, eh? Europeans cheering on Europeans in Europe. Oil lads, we just love a good lads in it. He's a lad, lads. Guinness pints, lads. And then American cheering on American in America. These people should be removed. And I replaced the last word. But how do we feel about the whole discourse around the way people are treated at these events from the away crowd, or the away players, I guess we'll call it?
Jeff, you'd know more, but like, I feel like a lot of times these are over exaggerated. You know what I'm getting at?
What?
No, I have a lot to say.
I
could argue it either way, but I will just argue it how I feel. I can't read the Reddit thing. It's too small for me, and I'm not on Reddit a lot. They're saying, like, through the week, European players were harassed. What is that?
It's saying, like, what's happened to this sport in recent years. The tour needs to get this under control.
So just to clarify, I don't believe European players were harassed. I believe once it sort of became a two-man thing, there was a USA chant on the 18th tee.
Correct.
That is what I took from it.
Yes.
I have so many things to say. Firstly, on the fact that I've been to many golf tournaments. I've been to like the Honda Classic in Palm Beach, called something else now, many times. Many times it's been like a pesky European versus an American. I feel like I've heard the USA chant.
Yeah.
Was it like as intense as that? Well, the guy just nutted up on 17.
Yeah.
He is a fan favorite. I didn't feel people are like connecting the vulgarity at the Ryder Cup to that chant. And I feel that is so disconnected.
Yes.
I feel that's not fair at all. And I feel like if Rory McIlroy is playing, who's like just my buddy Mayo said on our pod this morning, if Rory McIlroy is playing Brian Harman, they're not doing that.
Right.
They're not doing that.
But like, at the end of the day,
they chanted
exactly. It's a USH.
So I felt like it was pretty harmless. Even Fitz, after the fact, said like he seemed to think it was pretty innocuous. Matthew Fitzpatrick is a player who I believe, or in fact, his parents were like the only. His like family didn't go to the Ryder Cup.
Right.
They knew it was going to happen ahead of time. They're like, if we can't like walk on the course and enjoy it, like we don't need to like watch it on TV in a lounge. We'll just stay home.
Yeah.
And he was at other Ryder Cups being called like a test tube baby. Like the shit at the Ryder Cup is like absurd. And I felt like a lot of the criticism quickly was like, if you didn't let it get out of hand at Bethpage, if you like said this wouldn't be happening today. And I don't feel that's fair. To combat Powers' tweet, which I enjoyed, and he rips these exit velos in the gap all the time. I love him. He's referencing opens. And by that I mean like a Canadian Open or a Scottish Open. I also feel like there's a higher tolerance for that. Like even at a US Open, I feel like people would have a higher tolerance for what happened yesterday. But the players are supposed to. I'm not disagreeing with what Powers said. I just feel like if you're picking at national opens and making your comparison to that, I feel like that's also like a little disingenuous. But it doesn't change his exit velo.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think. Listen, starting a USA chant when it's an American golfer in contention against a European golfer. Going into the final
when
hole.
you tie the players by nutting up on the 17th hole at the players, which is like arguably top 5 famous hole on the PGA Tour, maybe 5 is even too generous of a ranking.
I think it's a top 1.
Sure, maybe. In terms of the PGA, it's like their postage stamp.
Yeah.
He hit it to 12 feet, buried the putt. That sends the place bananas. USA chant. Get the fuck over it. He nutted up so hard on that drive, though.
Agreed. Listen, there's one thing. USA chants. I'm for it. It's fine. You're a fan. You pay for it. You're in America. Telling people like your entire family should be dead and this and that. Like some of the stuff that was coming out of the Ryder Cup. That's completely a different story. I was watching on TV yesterday. I didn't even know this was a story, honestly, until today. I show up on Twitter and like there's all this backlash from like the Americans at the event. I think it's a big nothing, honestly.
No, America's just super patriotic. They love to just cheer USA and chant USA. That's all it
They
is.
literally are.
Literally, if
like
they're
drive through America, there's American flag. They're the most patriotic country
that's what
around.
they do. That's what they do.
They
So-
love to chant, but they're getting kind of washed away by the crowd at the World Baseball Classic. Kind of felt like a home game for the Dominican Republic, and it came down to a final at-bat. Dominican down 2-1, man on third, 2 outs, 2 strikes, and then the last strike of the game was definitely not in the zone. Quite low, maybe like 5, 6, 7, 8 inches outside of the zone, low near Perdomo's ankles. It was called a strike. Immediately watching with my friends, we were like, because we haven't followed the tournament like incredibly, we wanted to know if they were allowed to challenge this. They were not, and the game ended right there. Jeff Passan of ESPN says that game cannot end like that. A shame. Rob, you're pretty outspoken against not wanting like additional technology in sports. Is this an example where you backpedal a little?
Okay, now I'm being misrepresented. I don't want the umpire to have to turn around to the crowd every single time something is being challenged and being like, we got a challenge on the field here. And it takes 30 seconds to review a ball and strike. There are some elements of baseball that I like that are part of baseball, okay? Call me an idiot, whatever. Pitch framing is like been part of the game forever. It separates a really good catcher from a bad catcher by just being able to get strike calls. When it's egregious, and I don't think a game should end like this. Yeah. I thought that this game, maybe I'm exaggerating. I was more into this game than a lot of events. It was fantastic. I don't want to call it a classic, but it was kind of going towards that. You could clearly see it was like a 50-50 crowd. Lots of people were invested in this. Everyone talking World Baseball Classic going into the tournament was like, glorified exhibition. Now you get to the semifinals. Dominicans on a hot run. They're facing the U.S. It's close to a pick'em. I thought it had it all. And the game ending like that kind of fucking sucked. I mean, it did suck. I was just there. I was like, I wanted more. I mean, it didn't end properly. It was what it comes down to. Like, I'm not a Dominican Republic apologist. I bet them to win the tournament. Obviously, my betting habits might inform my opinions a little bit. I can't say that I was completely unbiased. Do I think the Dominican would have won the game if this was a rule of the ball instead of a strike? No, they were still big underdogs in the live betting markets, but it just feels like it's so, like, you just get so deflated.
It would have been runners on the corners with Tatis up.
Yeah.
So it would have been like a pretty sick moment.
Yeah.
It seemed like they had their launching point last time when it ended with Japan, USA, Trout, Ohtani.
Yes.
That was, but
Full count strikeout, I think that was.
Yeah.
and I get how you could say, I don't totally dismiss the glorified exhibition tournament. I mean, look at the time of year it's in. Mm-hmm. That being said, you got to last night, at least in terms of like the USA and how they worked the bullpen. That's like what you would have done in a playoff game.
It was a play.
Other than
it might as well have been a World
it was.
Series.
No, but in
It
terms
was.
of like, if I had one of those like 4 relief pitchers,
Yeah.
or the guys that pitched like pretty much 6, 7, 8, 9 for USA, and those were my players, I'd have been nervous because they were like going like 150% with like those pitches both ways. That was a little nerve wracking, but yeah, it was great. I took, as I joked on Twitter, I took a little of that Cam Young money and put some on USA because I thought there was a little too much USA disrespect in the market heading into the game.
You're sharp. Look at you.
But I also know I was wrong because I'm like, there's no way Severino can do that.
Yeah.
I watch baseball.
Yeah.
I watch he's never done that before. That was like
Every sports bettor in the history of sports. I watch the game. I know what's going to happen.
No, but I'm just like, Severino played above his skull.
For sure.
Fair.
Skeens played how Skeens plays.
Yeah.
And Dominican Republic looked like they never ran bases in their life
crazy.
before. I've never seen bad base running at that level.
I'm saying, I won the bet, but like my logic was they're going to hit that guy, and they didn't really hit him at all.
Yeah.
So yes, I win the bet, but like the reason I made the bet
Yeah.
was probably wrong.
Yeah, you're the tout that does like the 500-word write-up on like one angle of the game, and it doesn't happen at all, but you still win the bet,
Yeah.
and you get the victory
You get
lap.
the victory lap.
But at the generational run for the United States in sports right now,
Yeah.
when you consider the Olympics, you consider the Paralympics, sledding gold medal, I think I saw recently.
Sled hockey.
I don't know what's being
I'm
celebrated
an
now.
apologist because for the USA chant because I love it, and nothing hits me harder than a goddamn flyover. Okay, but this like USA, what made the hockey like pop is they were like a plus 120 underdog.
Yeah.
It should have been like more, honestly.
But they're
should
never
have
a
been more.
fucking underdog.
yeah.
So they got to like, it was the one time they got to feel
Yeah.
like underdogs.
Yeah.
But like this generational run as this guy who's pretty, some would say like backs USA too hard.
Yeah.
Like when are they not on a generational run?
Yeah.
Like they live in a generational run. And God forbid they ever figure out that soccer thing. Because they'd be the most. You think they were annoying
man.
about hockey?
That's true.
Like, imagine what would happen if they figured that one out.
I don't want to extract this to the full population, but I will say, good friend of mine, most of my friends are American nowadays because through betting, but Dominican is up against the U.S., and I got a text already that's like, who cares about this game, glorified exhibition and whatever. I love how the goalposts move depending on whether or not the United States wins.
Whatever
or
helps you. Whatever helps you sleep.
It does
at
make
night.
me laugh every now and then because a loss and the sport or league or whatever the competition is, it just doesn't matter. But a win, it means the world, means everything.
And I'm going to defend you on the framing of that take. You just think that it's like entertaining to have the fuck ups. Now, you would all probably agree when it's like the last play of the game.
Yeah.
That's not entertaining. But like when there's a fuck up in the middle of a game, there's like tentacles that come from that fuck up that like kind add to like a hyper entertainment that you don't get when it's like the true climax of the game. But your take was like it's entertaining when there's fuck ups.
Well,
and then when there used to be fuck ups in baseball, managers would lose their shit. And that was the best part of the game.
I think for me, what I find fascinating is like human psychology. And when around these tournaments, what I get filtered on Twitter is designed for me. It's what the algorithm, I don't see everything.
Yep.
Just like Jason doesn't see everything, Jacob doesn't, Jeff. We see what the algorithm thinks we want to see. But what I saw a lot of for the World Baseball Classic, especially as the Dominican looked like a powerhouse, was a lot of, and again, I'm not saying everyone felt this way, but a lot of Americans that were like, this isn't a real tournament. You know, it's whatever. The Italians are drinking espressos in the dugout. Literally are drinking espresso. Like nobody's taking this seriously. Why should we care? Type of situation. Forget the fact that you got the guy that like took down Osama bin Laden giving like pregame speeches. Like what the hell was that? Like obviously the American team cared if they're bringing this guy in as a guest speaker, right? But it's funny how it's completely turned now after the Dominican win. It's like it is a big thing again. I don't want to lump everyone into one bucket. I'm sure some people believe that the whole way. I'm sure some people don't care. From my perspective, I did find that a little bit amusing.
I also think it's hilarious because the way the tournament was set up with like the whole insurance stuff, it like negatively affected the U.S. the least of every other team. So it's like they had, if anyone is going to say it's a sham tournament, it's everyone else other than the U.S. who's basically able to field like their best roster. Whereas like Cuba had to struggle, like couldn't get a bunch of guys to get
no
in.
one, even Dominican, like if the U.S. has to go to like another player.
Yeah.
It's such a higher level player than when like
pool.
Canada or other teams have to like, oh, that guy's like usage has been maxed. So, right. We don't have like the replacement level players that America can continually funnel through.
What I will say is this: the last 2 years, we've been treated to a World Baseball Classic, and for hockey fans, a Four Nations.
Yeah.
And these were considered like going in. People are like, yeah, okay.
We don't know.
We don't know.
And then
They work, man. The national stuff works.
It does.
I don't care what
They
it
work
is.
for one
Put
reason,
fucking
though.
bocce or like dart. Give me national tournaments. That's why the Olympics
They work
works.
it works for one reason. And it's like almost the exact reason why, and maybe this is unfair and why I do have to pick on them. It's the exact reason like why the NBA All-Star game fell off a cliff.
But I didn't watch this year. I heard it was
hear me
good.
out. LeBron like stopped caring.
Yeah.
LeBron thought it was rest time. The leader, like everyone will follow the lead of the elite players. And so everyone that came in behind LeBron and he was their guy, their hero, they pretty much said like that is the model. In the same way in like golf, look at like how many star players played the week before a major then versus now. Like Tiger didn't play before a major, so like we just if it works for him, it works for me.
Yeah.
Now the amount of guys like, no, I want to be that snowball rolling downhill before a major. Whatever the top guys are doing, everyone else will copy. And the Four Nations in this, it seemed like other than an incident with a pitcher or two, which you can somewhat be an apologist for.
Sure.
Full buy-in.
Yeah. I will say, to me, it seems like athletes will get behind their country for any event. I feel like national pride just kind of takes over for a lot of these at national tournaments where people are like, oh, it's glorified exhibition. Or you get there and like you're with all your like American pride, Canadian pride, Dominican pride, whatever, and you're just around that culture. It just takes over.
I think also more like in doing stuff like this, more teams or more countries should allow what Italy did, right? Where it's like if you're second, third generation, you play for that country, and I think that should open up some more opportunities to get tournaments like this in the future. Because I forget who was on it. I think it was Vinny Pasquantino said like, I'm not just playing for like, I'm playing for like the name on my back, and not like my name, but like for my grandparents who like immigrated here and like had to go through a lot of stuff. And like, I think that's like something that we need a little bit more of.
And it's still a baby. Like the tournament is still just 20 years old. So now it's at you would hope what's happened like now is like anyone who can play, who's like healthy enough to play, is going to play.
Yeah. Well,
for the most part.
Yep.
Like I don't know the full. There's
I
still a
love
few.
that. I mean, we don't know what the final matchups are going to be. U.S. will be heavily favored. But I love the tournament. It was something I had on every day. Lots of interesting games. I don't know. I was all for it. Maybe my love for baseball has been brought back by a Jays World Series run. But I'm in, man. I'm in on baseball right now.
How funny would it be if it's Italy, U.S. in the finals, and Italy just gets absolutely stomped?
That's what
by
will
the
happen.
U.S. Right? Like that's what's going to happen if like they can get past Venezuela. But
money
like
line
Italy
was-
had the chance to like punt that game
Well, they just won't like
against Mexico.
Not
have U.S. out.
It's true. U.S. was
I mean,
this close.
it'd still be the Dominican. It would still be a really
Yeah,
tough
I know,
game.
But they
could
had
have
the
gone the
chance
US out.
to get the U.S. out of the tournament.
But just in the
Which would help
fact
me a
that
lot, but-
in a normal situation, the U.S. might like sleepwalk through the start of a game versus Italy. There's no way. Like they're gonna come in. The
They're
line,
locked
I think
in.
it was minus 800, minus 900 in the upset.
Yeah.
So I think honestly, if they made the finals like minus 12 or 1300, I don't even think that'd be. Like I feel like the line should go the other way
can see
instead of
that.
getting
For
shorter.
a final, I can kind of see that as well.
Yeah.
All right. We got to keep moving with the show. We're going to get into the disclaimer here, and then we're going to dig into the meat of the show. Just give us 30 seconds. Disclaimer. The content presented in this show is intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of any individuals or organizations mentioned. Statements made about public figures or entities are based on publicly available information and are not intended to harm or defame any person or business. This show relies on fair use of social media posts, which are presented in good faith for the purpose of commentary and criticism. Viewers and listeners are advised to form their own opinions. While we've been live here, there was somebody on Twitter at Promo Cactus who says, I'll tune in live for violence, otherwise I'll listen later. Well, hopefully you are watching live, so I think we're going to get into that here with the first main topic on the show today. Comes from an article on The Atlantic from Mackay Coppins. Anyone know?
I would guess McKay.
McKay Coppins, sure. Last year, The Atlantic gave me $10K to gamble with. What started as a journalistic gimmick turned into something more unnerving. My cover story on the online betting boom, warping sports, culture, politics, and the psyches of millions of young men. There was also a piece on Fox News where they were talking about how sports betting has become an epidemic. And a guy named Eli Thompson came on and warns that many students are losing serious money. I've seen friends lose $400 or even $500, not just their own money, but the money set aside for college or a car, and it's affecting school, sports, and their social lives. So we're not going to focus on the Fox News piece. We are going to focus on this piece by The Atlantic and Coppins here, because within the article, how it worked, he was given $10,000 by The Atlantic to bet with. This is somebody who has no experiences in sports betting and was just said, have at it with $10,000. And it kind of culminated up to the Super Bowl where he was down $5,000 and he put the last $5,000 on the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. So if they'd won the Super Bowl, he would be up by a decent degree. Remember, this money was given to him by The Atlantic to wager with. He was not going to lose any of his own money if he lost the $10K entirely, which he did. And he was able to keep the winnings on the money he was provided to by The Atlantic. Rob, you really went in on this piece. So do you have any other details you want to bring up about it?
I would also just say that I believe the writer is also Mormon, which again, like no prejudice or anything like that, but there's like this predisposition to already not like gambling as well on top of that. So I think that was something that came up after the fact. I read the whole piece. I wish I hadn't. It took a long time. I'm not exaggerating. I think it took me more than half an hour to read the entire thing. I was steaming reading it throughout. And I think that we can all acknowledge, and we have on this show, that irresponsible gaming exists in some capacity. Gambling is not just, the entertainment that some make it out to be. For others, a small subset of the population, which, there's estimates in like the 5% range, it can really get out of hand for people. And I think that's universally known. Like, I don't think that that needs to be proven in any capacity because, again, like, I don't think anyone is not acknowledging that problem gaming exists. I think the problem with I'll call this a takedown attempt at the gambling industry, okay? I think the problem with all these takedowns that have continuously happened over the years is that they just completely miss the mark. What this read like to me, and this is my opinion, but this read to me like the outcome was already predetermined of the article needs to get here in some capacity. And what you'll notice from reading this article is that he actually gambles very responsibly for like 14 weeks of the NFL season and loses a little tiny bit of money. And then it gets to the point where he just completely goes off the rails. He goes and is fucking taking Sean Perry's, like one of the, the people that we truly don't like in this industry, starts taking his picks. He bets $5,000 on the Super Bowl of his remaining bankroll. But none of this matters because I'll tell you something. The man was on a free roll, okay? He was not wagering his own money. So at the end of the day, the premise of this, it doesn't matter. When someone gives you money to wager, you behave differently. I have put people on free rolls in the past before. People get down, they lose some money. What's the next behavior? When there's no risk on your end, you start to up your bet sizes to win money or get back into the green. Like, you cannot run this experiment and be like, oh, I had 10K to gamble with. No, you didn't. You're not gambling. There's zero risk. On McKay Coppin's end, there is no risk whatsoever. So everything that comes after it is fiction. It doesn't matter. It's not how the regular world works. None of us are gambling with other people's money. When we gamble, we're gambling with our own. So to me, this completely missed the mark. And I was very curious in what the response was, and to the non-betting community, they loved it. They're like, oh, it's a great article. This is like, it really shows that. I mean, we all know what the downsides are, but the whole premise is false. It's not real. It's not rooted in reality. If anything, I think you could take the contrarian stance of this proved that for pretty much an entire NFL season, this guy could gamble responsibly, and he doesn't know anything about betting. He did it. It's when, the story's got to get turned in at the end. It's not going to be like, well, I had 10,000 to gamble with and I lost a couple $100 at the end of the season. That's not a story. That's not a story. I very much think that the motivation for writing this was already known beforehand. And it screamed like, to me, it just felt so fraudulent is the best way I could put it.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to nail it. And I also think that he knew the audience he was going for when writing the story, when coming up with the story. He knew that it wasn't going to be meant for anyone. It was meant to like sort of fearmonger, maybe like the parents of students to try and, get the clicks in and get people to click on the article. I didn't read the whole thing. I'm not going to sit and pretend like I did. If it took you 30 minutes, it would take me like a couple hours. So, I wouldn't. We knew it was going to happen with
The
this.
Atlantic might have one of those, they'll read it to you buttons.
Okay, maybe I'll do that. Like a
just
little podcast,
copy and
but
paste the whole thing into ChatGPT
There we go.
and say summarize.
That's what I should do. But I was going to say one more thing here. Was it predetermined that it would end at the end of the Super Bowl or no?
I don't know I have no idea what's
That's right, because you're right, though. If there was a set date for it to end, it makes a really good story.
Yeah.
If he wins on the Super Bowl, that's part of the story. If he loses, maybe even better for the article purposes.
Like you can't say, look, this guy betting with free money acted irresponsibly, therefore all betting is evil. Like you can't draw that conclusion.
Yeah.
And again, I suffered from problem gaming for a large portion of I understand the downsides associated. I'm not saying we don't draw attention to the downsides associated with gambling, but it's a huge stretch. There's a lot of people who bet recreationally for entertainment. It's totally fine for them to do so, right? But like these pieces, they need to get outside the box. Like, what are the actual problems that are existing? Why is gambling? Why is this culture? Why are 5% of people going off the edge and starting to wager money that they don't have? Like, let's get to the root of the problems rather than this fictional puff piece. It's so disingenuous. It makes me,
because whoever reads The Atlantic, like they need a screenplay, like they need a song and dance around their story. But to your point, there's a lot of things, like there can't just be an article on the predatory practices of these sports books. Like, why is America the only country in the world that allows like celebrities or athletes to promote? Like, there's a story there that can get to a lot of the real problems, but it needed this screenplay around it.
Yeah,
But
it's supposed to be a documentary, but it felt like a drama written in Hollywood, basically. Like it's not. I mean, like this. I saw this Fox News clip where they had this student on, right? Brain rot from online gambling.
Which is a hilarious tagline that we haven't brought up yet. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I know it's a very serious topic, but brain rot from online gambling is like a sentence that's never been written before.
They have no idea what brain rot actually means. This is not at all how to use.
But I'm like, I'm going to watch this piece, and again, I don't want to be insensitive to these problems that exist.
Yes.
Like when I was in college, I was gambling and losing a lot of money. I get it. I've been through. Those were dark times, right? But like, when you're going to do the story, don't find the guy who says, I've seen friends lose $400. I mean, these guys have like $100,000 in student debt. You think the $400 is proving anything at this point? Like,
I had textbooks that cost $300. They were they were as fresh as a fucking. I don't even think I cracked them. You can relate. Listen, like it just is. I know the type.
Yeah.
You just, how do I put this? You're in college. You're not paying for your tuition, and you're bored, and you got money, and what are you gonna do? Drugs and gamble.
Yeah.
And that's where the money. What else you spend your money on?
But I think like the problem. I'm not gonna claim that here at Circles Off we are the greatest investigative journalists. That's not what we're about here. We just give our opinions on the fly as they come in, sometimes with imperfect information. But if you're an actual journalist, and this is your responsibility, and you're a writer for The Atlantic, or you're on TV or whatever, I would like to see people get to the conclusion without starting at the conclusion. It seems like so much of the content nowadays around gambling starts with what the piece needs to get to rather than starting at the beginning, the start point, right? And again, for the millionth time, I will repeat it over and over. I understand that there are people in the sports betting population, casino wagers, whatever, that they'll go in way over their head. I don't want to dismiss that, right? And there could have been another world where McKay Coppins was betting his own money and, he didn't have to get it, allegedly, from my point of view, to this conclusion that sports betting is bad. And he might have still arrived in the same spot. But the way that this was contrived, in my opinion, immediately just to me it's fluff. There's nothing rooted in reality.
When you begin with the end in mind like that, it's invalidated. Everything that is written in the piece just feels like it's invalidated. Like it feels like no journalistic integrity, as a friend of the show would say.
So there's a comment here, a pretty good comment from Micah PG, who has been very outspoken about how he very much did not like the article. But question he has, I'd like you guys to answer: would the story have even been published if the Patriots had won the Super Bowl?
I don't know. I can't answer that. But like,
what do you think?
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
If he wins the
just
Super Bowl,
gets pushed back. It's
comes
a
out on
big
top.
swing. And then it's like,
I'm on top
I went
of the
from
world
up to like losing it
Yes.
all. Like,
Yeah.
no. The way this was written, it didn't matter if the Patriots won.
It would not have been published after the Super Bowl had
Yeah,
the
they're
Patriots
done.
won.
He's done. He's done the betting thing. It's time to wrap up this story.
yeah, it's just
Like-
like I'm getting ill just thinking about it's like,
And
I'm like this dad with a minivan and therefore all the other dads with minivans are gonna go down. It's just.
I will say, you see something pretty gross. I think it was like out of the Super Bowl. How it was like, if you just look at your P&L,
Yeah.
if you just look at it, we will enter you in a thing to win a $500 NFL shop gift certificate.
Who put that on?
A sports book.
Okay. So it's part of their responsible gaming.
That's actually,
initiative.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah,
it was great because I had a friend who's like, this was 2 years ago at the Super Bowl. I think I've told this story many times where he was like trying to convince me how up he was from gambling, and he likes to play casino games too.
Yeah.
And I told him like, no, you're not. Go look.
Yeah.
And the look on his face, it's like pretty serious. Like the look on his face is like, went white as it goes. He's like, wait, what? Like that's how much I lost. It's like, yeah, people should be more.
No, I get it. It's like when they give you, they give you something to go get like a cancer screening or something.
Yeah.
Like, here's an incentive. We really just want everyone to go do this.
Yeah.
Look at your P&L. You can win $500.
I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Responsible gaming.
I like that.
So, but before we get off the topic, I just want to say that there's so many ways that they could have gone about this to make it better instead of just sports betting is bad. Like, let's get a little bit deeper if we're going to do this stuff in the future.
Yeah, listen, I don't know what the solution was in this case. Like, his boss gave him $10K to bet with, right? To me, it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
The experiment over. You're not actually betting your real money. You're not going through the real emotions of betting. Yeah. It's plain and
Did
simple.
he even like degen that hard?
At the end.
Yeah, he started tailing Sean Perry's picks, so you could definitely say it hit rock bottom at some point.
Did he say why? Like, was this just like a fluff piece for? Like, not fluff
It's
piece.
more
but-
about like how the emotions are building. Like,
I mean, it probably got to a point like 80% through. They're just like, this is not a story at this point. Like,
What do I do?
we got to try something
I
to
don't-
spice this up.
There are so many real stories you can
Yes.
write around
Yes.
the real problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also like you can't. There's not going to be many like the Atlantic is probably not going to let one of their writers gamble $10K of their own money to write you know what I'm. So it's hard to write that.
Yeah,
piece
they
that
obviously went in that he knew he was going to lose it all. Like, because if he,
you can't. It also you can't have like I don't know. I just. It just
I would
disingenuous is the word that comes to mind. It just felt like the ending.
What else did the guy do for a year for the Atlantic?
I don't know.
I got a question about this industry. This guy got a year to gamble. He got the free 10K. He's still on payroll. What other stories did he put out in this year? That's the fucking job. And another thing,
he may have put other stories.
another thing about these sorts of publications that scares the shit out of you is you see a story in. I'm using the word maybe incorrectly, and I don't even mean it that way. But like in an
he's been putting out pieces.
An elitist publication like The Atlantic.
Yeah.
But you have some institutional knowledge on this one. When they're writing about like a well in Africa, you don't have institutional knowledge. And then you see what sort of fucking backwards contrived story this was, and it's like, how am I to know that like 80% of what comes out of all major publications work this way?
Well, that's what triggered me the most. Okay, so like I think I maybe made 3 or 4 replies to different people. One of them being Bruce Arthur, who was like, "Oh,
fucking hate
great piece or whatever," and this and that. So what really triggered me the most was the non-betting community responding to bettors saying, "Well, of course, you're a degenerate gambler, so you see this as ordinary and normal."
Can I reframe that just slightly? Because I was going to ask, so to say, a lot of the replies are like, your job is within sports betting. Of course, you are going to defend its right to exist.
Yeah, but the point that those people are not seeing is that a lot of those people have expertise in sports betting. Like they've lived it. Yeah. They know it better than someone on the outside who's never, ever ventured in it, doesn't understand it. So yes, listen, there's definitely going to be biases. If you're in sports betting, you love to bet. This is something you do for entertainment. Somebody's doing a piece on the entire industry and like wants to... Yeah, you might get defensive, but also you have a knowledge base and a foundation that the other people don't have as well. So it's like this double-edged sword. But that's what bothered me the most was like, I got a few responses like, "Oh, of course you would say that, that you would shit on this article. This is what you do. You live in." It's like, yeah, because this is what I do. I know the space. I've lived this before. I lived what this guy was going through, but I really lived it with my own money, not with someone else's money, and then I'm just fucking randomly firing off half my bankroll at the end. Like, it's absurd.
I got to get this in because we're on the topic of tearing these people down. My buddy who told me he took a 6-month break from a casino online. Okay? Couldn't have been in a good place if he felt he had to do that.
100%.
Guess what? That break ended. And do you know what he got? A congratulations email welcoming him back.
Yeah. That's tough. Not a good look.
Right? Like,
but this is the stuff that should be written about.
That's my point. This is
like that's predatory behavior. Yeah. That's going to cause someone who already has a problem to further go down the path. It could at least. Yeah. Like it's a touch point.
And it wasn't framed like, "Congrats, you've got your like 6-month chip."
Yeah.
Da da da. It was more like, "Welcome back."
Yeah.
All right, we're done now.
Welcome back.
Okay, good. Get over here.
Yeah. Like they can't wait for your time to run so they can start soliciting you again.
I have no problems with tear down pieces on the sports betting industry as long as I think that either side of the argument, the person could argue either side of the coin basically going in. Like if you're open-minded about it, I'm going to write about this, but I want all the facts before I do. I think that's one. If you're going to do these sociological experiments, run them in a way where they actually fucking make sense for what the outcome you're trying to prove. Because where this guy started versus where he finished, you can't arrive at that conclusion.
The funniest part is if he was paper trading, he would have done he wouldn't have lost the $5,000 at the end. If he was just writing down what he was betting on instead of actually. Anyways, I'm curious if does he have bet slips in there?
I didn't know. There was like a lot of no, not like specific slips.
Can I tinfoil hat?
No, we're not going to do that. I think.
Are we sure he was betting at all? Did he just pull the wool over his boss's eyes and just
I
came to you had the conclusion. He didn't need to bet. He knew what he was going to write about no matter what.
I don't know.
That'd be pretty elaborate charade to have not bet.
But the
entire
problem is
time.
when I
Anyways,
see when I see something go from point A to point B, and I'm looking at the in between, and I'm like, wow, this doesn't make any sense. Plus, like, this isn't his money. Plus, he already, is predispositioned to hate this industry. Like,
Yeah.
I think you're going to draw logical conclusions at that point. Doesn't mean we're right. I mean, listen, there's a very small possibility that he went in. These were the exact same behaviors he would have exhibited if it was his own money, but it doesn't matter. So it's not, you can't validate that.
Did anyone on gambling Twitter disagree with the take that this was a ridiculous article?
I think Plus EV Analytics was one.
He thought it was.
I think there was a few. I mean,
Did Kirk? Because he said him and Kirk agreed on something. Did they agree that this was
possibly? I don't think Kirk wanted the heat from me today. Maybe that's why he said Jason's got to sub in.
He didn't want the heat from.
Listen, I saw
Dave.
a lot of people on gambling Twitter
Okay.
that quote tweeted and say, like, this is a really good read. I saw definitely Plus EV Analytics. Pamela Maldonado was another one. There was several. I can't remember all of them. So it's not like it was universally that everyone was shitting on it. But I just
a lot of the people who complimented it, I'm telling you, didn't even read it. They just like, oh, the Atlantic, great read. I'm so informed and been enlightened. They didn't even fucking read it.
Yeah.
It just and when I made a claim about like who would read the Atlantic, and then the first name you drop is like Bruce Arthur. Bullseye.
Yeah. I mean, I don't read enough to know what these. I didn't know much about the Atlantic going into this. This might have even been the first time I heard the name. I might have even got it confused with The Onion for a good 2 minutes. I'm like, is this some sort of satire? I don't get it. And then, yeah.
So Plus EV, he didn't not that I've seen. There's no like outward support of the article. There's like one he retweeted where he kind of like backs up like some of the stance from the article. But anyways, if it's all said on this one, we can move on here. You guys all good on this topic?
I am. I can't say any more on that. I just triggering piece.
Of course. Let us know in the comments what you think about this piece. If you think there was an issue with it, if you support what was written there, we'd love to hear your takes, and we'd like to feature some takes on the shows in the following weeks. But before we get to our second topic, if you're enjoying so far, a reminder, make sure you've hit the like button. Help support the content, help drive us up in the YouTube algorithm. That little thumbs up button makes a huge difference to our channel. If you're enjoying what you see, you want to see more content like, we do tons of educational stuff, reaction stuff like this in the channel. Make sure you're subscribed. We're making a push for 22,000 subscribers. And the bigger this thing grows, the better content we can make more often for you guys. But second piece here, maybe some more violence. I think we chose a little bit of violence last week with this topic here. So Kelly in Vegas, who does sports betting content for WagerWire, put out
Wager Talk.
Wager Talk, where she put out quote unquote sharp lines that she was provided from apparently behind the desk at Superbook, which it turns out that pretty much all these were taken from Dr. Bob originally without the accreditation towards that, but it was stale lines, sometimes often from games that had already started. These lines would have moved. There was no odds attached to the lines that were being set. So like a plus 23.5, minus 150, or plus 100. Large differences there. So our claim on the show was that the content provided by Kelly in Vegas was lazy, and that if you're going to post this, like the bare minimum you can do is say, this is what it was, this is what the price is now. She did not take too kindly to the criticism that we had for her. She quote tweeted the clip that we posted on our Twitter account at CirclesOffHQ. You should follow it, link in the description. She said, over under 0.5 naked woman this foursome has seen, under juice minus 150. Lay it. A bet as bad as some of the content, because one of the people here has a child, multiple children. One of the people here is married. One of them is engaged. So I considered this to be an insult as lazy as the content was. And if you're gonna if you have an issue with criticism for your content, I find it interesting that her stance was not to actually defend the content she was putting out, but rather attack us individually. It felt like, back up the content that you're putting out. Then she also had this to say. Someone replied to her at Ray Hogan, says, the last video I saw of these guys were them bashing Simon Hunter for a full hour.
That is
best
not
segment. The best segment I've ever done.
That was one person of the 4 that were on the show, by the way.
Yeah. I would do
that's
it again
the most
tomorrow.
viewed video on the channel by far, and Rob would probably do it again. Not sure what they think they are accomplishing. It's good for anyone that gambles have access to as much info as possible, and that is all these pros are providing. I'm grateful for the free, I guess, content that Kelly's providing. She says they clearly have some sort of superiority complex. They put themselves on some fake pedestal and tell each other how great they are. There are plenty of dorks like this in the industry. They love to tell everyone how great they are by putting other people down, which is interesting because she did the exact same thing like a few minutes before with some of the things that she said. Also, she claims to know a lot about us, but then also claims she has no idea who any of us are. So,
well, I know she knows me. I mean, I met Kelly. We were friends for many years, and I think probably what ended up dividing our friendship was the fact that I associated with Kanish, and Kanish. And Kelly were not on good terms at all.
And she
said
claims,
something he probably shouldn't have said.
She claims she doesn't know me, but we've met. I've met her, and it only costs like $8 to see a naked girl.
Yeah, like
Okay.
Well, you can also do it for free on the internet. Like,
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying in her past life,
I see what you're
she
saying.
doesn't remember meeting me. I met her. Okay,
I actually
and it wasn't expensive.
credit to where it's due. I actually think that for like a flame, like a response that's going to resonate with the audience, that was a pretty good one. I honestly laughed. When this was sent to me, my first reaction was an audible laughing out loud.
I like when they play.
I disagree.
I like when they play
Extremely
along.
lazy insult.
I do agree. There should be
Well, it's
like
lazy and funny. They can be,
you can
yes.
be lazy.
Well,
You can also make an effort, I guess, to back up any of the criticism
that's it.
at all. Here's the thing, though. I mean, the like Thanos collection. I'm not an Avengers guy. What are they? Like Infinity Stones?
Yeah.
Everything in the mentions in terms of the Infinity Stones. Simon Hunter burners, Jared Smith, the prop queen, like everyone who you would think.
I say maybe the Avengers of shitty sports betting
Yeah,
content.
like I'm just saying, like the Infinity Stone collection of.
You're saying like the people that are the ones that are getting called out the most are all the ones that
ones who were like, "Way to go, Kelly! Way to
God.
tell them!"
Yeah.
From super simps.
Well,
all the way through. So that was pretty telling. Maybe like, I'm sure like Brett was cheering her on too.
yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I don't think I'm well liked by the people who are going to follow Kelly.
And I don't
but,
have
like,
a superiority complex. You might, but I don't.
I think. Listen, let's call it out for what it is.
Wait, what?
Jason, superior. But
I
he
wasn't even on
he
the
wasn't on the show. He was-
I wasn't even on the
Jason
clip.
wasn't here.
Kirk, maybe, but like
Kirk went in the most, by the way, and
Yeah.
he's not here.
I think all I said, which I mean, I feel like you could call me guilty adjacent of it too, is at times like playing both sides. From like sharp with like some info to like also getting to be like square fun rec.
yeah.
Right? That she is in that spot where like she can play both sides of that whenever it's convenient. I stand by it. I feel like that was the extent of my criticism.
Well, I got so much to say on this. First and foremost, I think Jacob's point is very valid. Okay,
Yeah, it was lazy.
I can speak to like when people come after, like people respond with comments on this channel all the time. I would actually encourage you to do so. It helps us in the algorithm. But if you disagree, I will respond to you on the channel, either from the Circles Off account or my own.
On YouTube, though, just be careful. Don't put any swear words because you will get auto-filtered.
It's true.
By YouTube. So please don't do that.
But typically, I know when people come after me for certain things, I'm not going to say that I've never in the past before made a personal insult about someone. I mean, obviously, we've all been there. People get triggered and whatever. My typical line of defense is like, here's why I disagree. I think that when you go straight to the personal insult, it's like a deflection tactic. There's a lot of psychological studies that show this, but like when you go right after, there's a piece of content that she watched. She could have just said, this isn't true for XYZ reason, or I think this is valuable for XYZ reason. That's typically how I would defend myself. I'm not saying everyone has to do this, the exact same thing. But when you dig like deeper through this, and I have, because we're on a show and we got to talk about it, one of the fundamental like glaring pieces is that there's a lot of people who don't like when there's, quote unquote gatekeepers of the industry. And I don't try to be a gatekeeper. I just try to be honest and transparent with the audience. Like Ray Hogan's response here, right? The Simon Hunter bashing, I would do that. Guy is an absolute clown, lying to his audience all the time. People should know that. Whether they believe it or not, I would like to put it on the internet because I feel very strongly about it. It's good for anyone that gambles to have access to as much info as possible, and that is all these pros are providing. False, wrong. Most people in the betting space, they don't know how to discern what's good from what's bad. You can hit someone with a betting trend that sounds amazing, and they're like, oh, this is great, I'm going to bet it. This is actually the exact opposite of this. A lot of stuff should be filtered to people. What I do on this channel is betting education. I talk lifestyle. I talk about my life. I live my life in a public forum. People are always like, oh, Rob, he doesn't win money betting. All the pros that I know, they're not doing content. That's great. Maybe I'm a unicorn. But like Kelly said that to someone else. Oh, all the pros I know, they put their head down. They do work. You got Bill Krakenberger on your channel. Like he's a Wager Talk handicapper that you're doing content with. Like the hypocrisy it's too much for me. I choose to do what I do. I went through a really bad stretch in my life where I would like people not to go through that. Am I making money off the hammer? I pay myself nothing. It's peanuts, zero, right? I want to build something. Like this is good culture. If we exit down the road, we sell the company, whatever, it turns into money, that's great. I'm pretty much retired at this point from betting. I do this because I like to do it. I like to talk about it. So that's where I'm at. But overall, like I'm not a big fan of in this space, whenever a dialogue tries to happen between two people, probably 90% of them just end with one person insulting the other, and there's just no conversations that happen anymore. And that's what bothers me.
So I get how it can like suck to send a tweet and then you're talked about on a show for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I totally get how that can suck.
I like it now.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Now the reason, like Rob might not like what I'm about to say, but I would encourage other people to do this show. Now, I know that sounds stupid, but my point being is this gambling space is so big. There's so much conversation around it from, major publications putting out those articles to funny shit we can laugh at to people thinking they're smart, really outing themselves with tweets that prove how dumb they are. I was pestered Rob for a while, like, the space is big enough. There needs to be a show like this. Yeah. That's it. So when you're going to send out that tweet with the 27 plays that were sent out by a service, it's going to end up on this show. That's what this show is here for.
Yeah.
In many ways. So like a place to talk about a tweet like that and the dumber tweets, not your tweets. I mean, the dumber tweets we see in the orbit.
But a lot of times, like, so maybe this gets lost. I know there's people we've talked about before on the show where they'll message me and they'll be like, hey, like, don't take personal shots. I get that. I'm not going to pretend like I've never done that before in my life. But what we tend to do is we take tweets. Usually these are viral tweets. Well, we're not nitpicking stuff that got 4 views. Either somebody hashtagged us, circle back on Twitter, wanted us to talk about it, or these are ones that are going out to hundreds of thousands of people that we're talking about. They are relevant in the space. And we are just taking the tweet, showcasing it, and we're giving our opinion on that. Now, a lot of times, for sure, we do tend to gravitate towards stuff where we disagree. Because it's, people don't really do content where they bring something up on screen and everyone's like, oh, this is a great point. I agree. It's really hard to do that way. But a lot of these are turned into educational pieces, lessons on what to do. I think that, people attack the credibility of what we do. I'm sitting with 3 people that are not professional bettors. None of you guys are saying that you're professional bettors. When Kirk sits in this chair to my right, I have a lens into Kirk's betting, as a lot of other sharps do, but he doesn't want that public. Kirk is a phenomenal basketball bettor, like one of the best, right? People don't know that. There's no real way to prove that. He's not going to share his personal finances or whatever, but I know that when we're assembling something here and people are making points, a lot of times it comes from a spot of credibility. Attack us, whatever, it's fine. At this point, I think with these, maybe there's a way to have more constructive feedback mechanisms. I just don't know what it is.
I don't care. But the space is like so big.
Yeah.
The gambling orbit is so big. A show like this absolutely has a place. It didn't exist. It exists now. I'm encouraging other people to make shows that are sort of like this. Yeah. Just talking about all like the funny, silly, smart, great things, big scores happening in the space. I don't like the whole.
If I could get a line on the over/under half naked women, though, and I could get like a plus 120 on the over,
I would smash that.
Yeah.
So
well, didn't
hard.
Benson message? What did Benson say about it?
to me, I don't know.
I would.
He told me like the super sharp money is on the over.
It is on the over. I'm pretty sure the line moved to 3.5 under minus 100,000 because Kirk Evans was in the chair. So we know that at least one of you guys in that clip has not seen a naked woman. So the under 3.5 was a lock.
Yeah, like also like here's a good reason why. Here's why this is a good clapback. I gotta give credit where it's due.
This is good.
It's not good.
It is. For a personal insult, it's funny. And on top of that, there's no real response. Like, who's going to respond and be like, actually, here were all my kills from from 2006 to, like, it's, no one's going to respond now. It makes you look like a complete idiot.
Wait.
No. I didn't respond, but I have friends who, like, love seeing, how do I put this? Like, let's say, like, we're in Vegas together, like, the casino, put them there, and then, like, someone wants to, like, come say hi. And it's like, so my friends, it's always the same, like, person. Like, khakis, Titleist hat. Mm-hmm. Like, always the same. And then there's, like, funny things on the internet from, like, either people, how do I put this? I've already gone too far.
You're a big shot, is what you're saying.
No, not a big shot. My real friends in my real life laugh at like internet strangers sucking up to me.
Okay.
And then there were a couple like replies like, he's actually a great guy and he has 3 kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good when I see some good replies every now and then. I'm like, it's great. We're all crossing our legs right now as well. That's another, we got called out for that. Very cool.
I mean, someone can like run the analytics. I'm like back and forth throughout the show.
I don't even think about it consciously. Maybe that's a problem.
I try to get comfortable.
These chairs,
readjust.
they're like primed for the leg cross.
Yeah, I think
because it's so low.
Yeah,
that, you're kind of
I don't know.
We also had a friend of yours.
Apparently, that's making a statement. But
yeah, I guess a friend of yours, Jeff, reached out and said we completely missed the mark on this segment altogether. The point that we should have been preaching was that if they're sharing Dr. Bob's sharp picks, then people should be subscribing to Dr. Bob. Like, what are we doing here? That was one piece
I'm not
of feedback.
really too familiar with Dr. Bob, but apparently, like, if he sends something out, it moves. So that's a credit.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Bob, since I've gotten in the industry, I think has been respected in some way, shape, or form. I don't know him well. The only issue that I noticed in the past...
Were we knocking Dr. Bob?
Wait, is that...
No. It was just another handicapper had reached out and said,
listen,
this segment sucked. You guys missed the story for this segment, which is that people should be subscribing to Dr. Bob, which I was like, that's not the story I think that we want to tell here.
Do you have anything else to say?
I don't have anything else to say.
You don't want to congratulate anyone?
I don't think I do.
Okay.
I think maybe at some point or another I would consider it, but...
51 units in the last 20 days?
Oh, my God. Are you getting a live text right now?
You know
these through text messages?
What time were these sent at?
Just don't worry about it.
Just right now?
No.
They were?
Is he watching live?
I don't think so. No, these were from earlier.
Okay.
Why don't you give him a call?
Don't do that.
We're live to air. That's
You can tell, hey, we're
okay.
live to air. Do you
listen.
wanna-
before we
Any
move
pros,
on-
they're like grinding the NCAA casino scenes right now.
But before we move off this topic, I got tagged in a lot of backlash as a result of this post by Kelly in Vegas. I didn't see any defense of the content she's putting out, other than that she's doing it for free. It's helping people.
But I'm
Stale
gonna-
lines. Some of the
I'm
games
not
already started.
knocking-
Who is this helping?
I'm not knocking her. Did we
I don't
knock
ca-
her content?
Yes, that was the whole.
That was the
I
premise.
thought we
I
knocked the
believe that
tweet.
these
I thought
type-
we knocked the tweet.
No, the
tweet.
tweet. The content of the tweet.
The
Content
tweet
of the tweet.
being
Content of
the
tweet.
content.
Listen, not every tweet can be a
Not
home
every tweet's
run.
a
We
banger.
felt that tweet deserved being called to the carpet.
Yeah.
It
She
was-
disagrees with an insult. That's fair, I guess. Like, I don't know how we're supposed to respond to that.
I think it's a very fair criticism to say somebody's posting someone else's complete card on a given day. Numbers have already moved substantially. Some of these games have already started. What is the point of doing this? I think that's completely fair. I pulled up Kelly's
And there was
profile right now. I don't know what she's doing.
There was nothing that addressed that stance. It was just
like, she
a personal
hosts
attack.
like Rec Entertainment,
But, like,
gambling, right? Is that it?
There's like a million.
We should have like a radio show.
Okay,
Like,
wait.
she says she doesn't know who I am. I know who she is, but I don't actually know what she does. She's got like
I'm gonna tell you now.
investments.
So
She's
Wager
got-
Talk owner. So she's a co-owner of Wager
So
Talk.
she's doing good. Good
Odds-
for her.
Odds
Congratulations.
Logic, I don't know what that is. If she's promoting or she co-owns
She owns
as
some
well.
of Wager
That's
Talk.
an odds
She's
stream.
doing pretty good for herself each year.
Agreed. She's promoting Westgate, Vegas. She's promoting Splash Sports. She's promoting Outkick. She's promoting Pickett. She's
got a lot going on.
My whole thing is that, you know what? I don't even want to get into the brands. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, stand by the segment in what was said. If the response is going to be petty, fine. It is what it is. But like, I think typically when people have an argument, they can come back with an argument and be like, I disagree for X, Y, Z reasons. Anyways, we can leave it at that.
Yep. We'll move on with the show. We'll try to speed up a little bit for the remaining segments on the show. Remember to hit the like button if you're enjoying so far. This one came from the Players Championship this weekend from PGA, and DraftKings support said that Collin Morikawa has withdrawn from the Players Championship for daily fantasy is considered an inherent risk, and he'll be scored with the stats accrued before the withdrawal. And he played one hole of the event, but it felt like leading up to the event, this was a distinct possibility of something that could have happened. And a lot of people were really, really upset that they had bets including him, and then he withdrew from the event. Jason Sobel said, look, I get it. You invest in a player, you play one hole and withdraws, so you're mad about it. Of course, me too. This should go without saying, but worth repeating in the moment. Trust me, the guy who's hurt and can't play in one of the year's biggest tourneys is a lot more pissed off than you are. He's more invested in his own success than anyone else. Let's start with Geoff on this one. What are your thoughts? Is this valid to be upset about?
So I just want to fix something you said. Because I think you mistook Rory and Morikawa in the sense that there were no signs of a Morikawa back injury.
Oh, okay. Apologies.
So it was pretty, like, you invested in
It was a
Rory.
surprise.
And he withdrew. He didn't, there was.
Morikawa was the most owned player, I think, on
In DFS.
DraftKings
Yeah.
DFS
Yes.
at like
Yeah.
40%.
He was a huge one and done player. It's sports.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that want like PGA Tour injury reporting. I laugh at that because these are all private contractors. I think that would do you. The people that want it, I feel it would actually cause them more harm than good. They'd be given like little germs of things, and you wouldn't know what is like big, what isn't.
Yeah.
And who'd even be updating it. It'd be at the discretion of the player. And by all accounts, this Morikawa thing, like, it happened in game.
Yeah, took a practice swing and he felt it.
So I give, I guess, credit to the books. Some of them, I think DraftKings, they refunded bets, outright winning bets.
I think pretty
On
much
Morikawa?
all books that I saw ended up refunding. But the real anger came from
The DraftKings game.
the DFS stuff that's going on.
But they think they're playing a game of skill, which there's a high level of skill in it. But at its like germ, its origin story, and sometimes they need to be reminded of it, is you're always fucking gambling.
You are. You're and the reality is, as DFS works, what's the solution? There's no solution. What
People
is
want
someone
the
supposed to do?
solution to be you auto get the next lowest price player.
the next lowest
So
price?
if he's 9,500,
You get a
you get a
9,400.
9,400.
I mean,
No.
okay. So
But people build their lineups based on ownership and leverage. There's a whole chain reaction. I just think it's gambling.
whatever DFS is referred to nowadays, game of skill, game of chance, whatever. At the end of the day, there is an element of gambling with all of this stuff. There is risk associated when you put in a DFS lineup of a player leaving injured. I can't even tell you how many times I played NBA DFS. I was the idiot with Anthony Davis all the time, leaving games. Like, it happens. It sucks. But, like, you can't just replace player. Like, then what's going to happen when all of a sudden a guy's lineup, Morikawa's out, he gets replaced by Cam Young. Cam Young wins the players. Now all these people who lost to Cam Young are just as furious as the ones that Morikawa withdrew. Like, at some point, we just got to say, the rules are the rules. They're fine. Sometimes it's going to suck. You know what's going to happen, Jeff? Sometimes you're going to be in a Players' Championship DFS, and you're not going to have fucking Collin Morikawa, and he's going to withdraw, and 40% of the other lineups are completely dead, and it worked in your favor. Like, I'm so sick of this one in particular. Sportsbooks refunding, I get it. The DFS solution, it doesn't exist.
What would have happened if he didn't play the first hole? Nothing.
Full refund.
Full refund on your entry.
Oh, then you
You have a chance to swap them.
have a chance.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but
You can swap before the lock.
okay, yeah. So
That's it. Once it locks, it locks.
it's done, yeah.
That's the rule.
What are we-
That's the
what are we
DFS
doing
rule
here? Yeah.
since the beginning.
But again, these are independent contractors.
Yeah.
And in a lot of times, how do I put this? They might not be feeling great the day before, but it's like, I'm going to warm up tomorrow. I'm going to get some physio in. Like, I'm seeing how I'm going to feel the day of the game. They're going to go play the game. They're not feeling healthy. The Masters is in a month.
yeah.
I'm out of here.
I got to tell you, though, in a decade, DFS, betting, all of this stuff, it went from like perfectly accepted that this would happen and it just being a shitty thing, which would literally happen all the time.
I remember a decade ago, people lost their shit too.
No.
Yeah.
Not in this.
There were less people, or like there was a quieter niche of the internet, but been doing like golf podcasts for over 10 years when I agree there's more.
Yeah.
And this was a true extreme in terms of ownership.
Like a prominent player leaves a game or a tournament or whatever, it's trending on Twitter within an hour. Now, it is.
yeah. Yep.
And it's,
Okay. But anyone, yes, they refunded in the end because it makes sense for them because people just reinvest it. For
Yeah,
the
they
most
just would
part.
have. Yeah.
But like everyone, based on how they treat football, like you'd be dumb to not like try to get a refund.
sure.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good point. That
Yeah.
can contribute to it. The fact that it is like accepted now.
Yeah.
Sort of
So
reaping
they've
it.
created this.
You're
where
reaping and you're sowing.
It's almost like not even a story anymore. We're like, refund, oh my God. Now it's like you fully expect refund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The question is, what's the litmus test? If you played 6 holes, would there have been a refund? 9 holes, would there have been a refund?
I'm just like now I'm old man yells at clouds. I see it. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I know what's coming. I know because my For You is catered to sports betting. I'm going to see this dominate the entire thing. But yeah, I'm okay with complaining. Seriously.
Yeah.
I am okay with complaining when you are willing to offer a reasonable solution.
Yeah. There's no reasonable solution here. It's just don't. Yeah. Anyways.
All right, keep it moving on this show. A reminder of some of the other great content that we have, because if you're joining this show live, you might enjoy some of the other content we have live here at the Hammer Betting Network. We have moved back to a live show format for Forward Progress and Hit the Books. That's our NFL channel and our college football channel here at the Hammer. The links are in the description for those channels, by the way. All the best off-season content, big moves, betting futures, we've got you covered. Wednesdays 2 p.m. on the Forward Progress YouTube channel and on Twitter as well. And Wednesdays, 5 p.m. on the Hit the Books channel. Join live, drop your questions, and be back with the team. Again, the links for those channels are in the description box below. you can subscribe to those channels to keep up to date with everything we have going on at the Hammer Betting Network. But now it's time to get into the comments from the previous week's show. So these are a little long, but there was a couple of comments here. One I have reference here from Ricky Pucks and Modinero 5625, who are talking about the alleged rigged fight in the UFC that we discussed last week. Now, essentially what I wanted to cover with the question here was that we talked a lot about perhaps like why maybe it wasn't rigged, but we didn't cover enough of why the odds shifted in the way they did if the event was not rigged. If I recall, Rob, you were like 2 out of 5, this is rigged. Kirk was more like 3, 3.5. Could you maybe shed some light into why the odds would have moved in this capacity if it wasn't rigged? Ricky Pucks offered up that essentially limits opened up, and there were a lot of people that saw this market, and when the limits opened up, they fired away and moved this to where it was.
Yeah, so people definitely thought that they had some insight on this fight, is what it comes down to. It's no different than, I don't know, years ago, there was a rumor that Mac Jones would go 3rd overall. I think that was a thing. And Mac Jones steamed from like plus 200 to minus 1,000 on the same. When people think they have information, they're going to bet it. And as a sports book, or, you know, when you're taking that action and you're seeing, you know, significant bets come in on a certain side, and then you're looking at those accounts and being like, well, you know what? Some of these bets have been on the right side of things before. You're going to move the market. This is the way it works. But I still don't have clarity on that situation, honestly.
How could Kirk be 3 out of 5 that it was fixed if he didn't watch the fight?
I don't know. He likes to really, you know, make it.
Well, I mean, you're on the show, and
takes.
I make you give an answer.
Well,
for a take.
to be fair, I did send in the group chat. Here's the full fight for you guys the night before, which
I watched.
I know you watched.
Yeah,
it didn't look rigged in the video.
It didn't look
sure.
rigged in the video at all. Anyways,
it looked like a fair fight.
It looked like
I
a
mean,
fair
you
fight.
don't know. I don't know. But
guy
like,
got cracked. It's like that is what it is.
he
Like,
also like what in the first round was
he
doing
was
some damage.
he was trying to win.
Yeah, he was like
Absolutely. Second batch of comments come from Captain Jack Andrews, who does some great content on YouTube as well with Unabated, and Vertical. I don't know. Anyways, this is on the conversation of how many bettors make at least $500,000 pre-tax from gambling. And I thought it was like 200 to 500. I think, Rob, you were more around the 200 mark. So Captain Jack offered up a solution here where essentially he's pointing the number close to 1,000 people. And Vertical, I guess it's Vertical, says, doing my accounting for the year while watching this, knowing myself, when Rob said 200, I laughed. Ain't no way it is that low. We've had some time for that question to kind of sit. How many bettors make over $500,000 in the U.S. pre-tax? Do you have the same answer or a different answer now that maybe more thought has gone into it?
I still have absolutely no clue. I do think that the numbers are still probably overestimated. If you were to go just based off the commentary on our channel, it seems like everybody's making $500K plus a year.
You talk to 100,000 sports bettors and there's 100,000 winners. It's like, all right, sure.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm willing to admit that I might have underestimated, but I'm skeptical that 500K is a pretty decent barrier to clear, especially on an annual basis, especially if you've been a winner in the past before and you're trying to scale. Not saying it can't be done. There's plenty of people that do it, but I don't know. I have no idea.
If there's 1,000 people and there's 500,000 and they make more than 500,000 per year, like that's scary for the industry. If you think about like the amount of money that people are winning,
sure,
like so much more is getting lost for these companies to have to be profitable for that.
A lot more.
And final comment comes from
Big
Chum43, says, if you're using prediction markets or exchanges to win money on gambling, on quote-unquote parlays, then I say no complaining. This was in regards to the segment we had last week where there were market makers on prediction markets like Kalshi and Polymarket who are essentially limiting specific people, specific counterparties from being able to take up those wagers. Hopefully I'm explaining that correctly. But this person says if you're getting involved with these sort of markets, then there's no complaining. The beauty of trading versus gambling is buying and selling from other users. The loophole where people created custom quote unquote bets that market makers can choose to fund means that you can't force them to take action. This is prediction market's way of trying to offer traditional gambling to Sorry. This is a prediction market trying to offer traditional gambling parlays, not a limiting problem. What do you guys think on that?
It's a bit of both. It's like a little bit of semantics here, I would say. But yeah, it is the prediction market solution of trying to offer more recreational wager types, but it's also causing, I don't want to call it a problem, but some instances of limiting as well. So it's like, it's a little bit of both. I do think that, blaming people generally when there's like new markets and there may not be the full, like most broad understanding of how things work is not the way that I would typically want to go. But I don't know, this is still very much in its infancy as a product, and we'll see where the space is headed.
All right, getting back into the content on the show, we're going to shift into where maybe the industry has gone in sports betting. Marty Bird says, gambling Twitter is just scammers calling other people scammers every day. This shit dead ass made me hate gambling. There was a long tweet here from Blaze Bets at Blaze AISE Bets. Talk about the same thing, saying that gambling Twitter is the most toxic that it's ever been. There's no discussion or dialogue anymore. It's turned into, I don't like you, so screw you, and nothing else. Isn't the case for everyone, but sure is the majority of people at the moment. The community aspect of it is kind of going away from the space. So I'll start with Jason here. You were kind of well ingrained when the spaces were in full flow. You've kind of seen the gambling even shift in the amount of time you've been in there. Like, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's usually the people who are, it feels like, I don't know either of these people. I don't know their usernames, don't know what they do. Do we have like a background on them? Because it feels like whenever people say that, they're usually also the nefarious ones. I don't know if I'm
I don't think I've seen Blaze.
I don't know either of these guys. I'm not calling them that, but like a lot of the people that I've seen that complain about this stuff are like usually nefarious bad parties, and they get called out for it, and they feel like getting called out is now it's a negative spot. But like if you're not doing any good to the world and someone's calling you out for it, maybe there's a reason. But again, like I don't know. I don't know enough about these people to come to that conclusion. I don't think it's that bad. I just think you're looking in the wrong spots if you think it's that.
So like Blaze Bets is selling. They post picks for free, but they also sell like access to like additional stuff.
Okay.
The other person, Marty Bird, I'm looking into right now.
Marty Bird was Jason Bateman's name on
Ozark.
I think this is just a person involved in gambling Twitter.
Okay. Well, yeah, like I don't know. Anyways,
almost 100,000 followers.
I think there's truth to both of these statements.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Like gambling Twitter is just scammers calling other people scammers every day. This shit that made me hate gambling. It's happening a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
When you think of why, you have the emergence of I think you coined this, the WOP slop. I think you said.
No, I love
that's
that.
good,
That
though.
could have been Kirk though.
Maybe Kirk. You got the WOPs and winnable and whatever else. Everybody is viewing the gambling industry nowadays, especially the younger demographic, as an opportunity to make money quickly, right? And there's this thing that happens. I've talked about this as a phenomenon before, but most people have the inability to see themselves as being harmful to the community. Everything that they do, if it's well researched, it's picks, whatever, they're putting in the effort, therefore it's good. And most of these people are just catching on to one another. But it is hilarious sometimes to see who calls out who in the space. I do find that funny. Marty Bird says, this shit deadass made me hate gambling. I like those interactions. I think they're hilarious. When somebody has absolutely no self-awareness that they start roasting someone for the exact same stuff that they're doing, that's my favorite. Those was actually, rest in peace, pour one out. Original Elf Spaces. One of my favorite things was the scammers yelling at each other.
Yeah.
That was
King Cap.
King Cap. Some of these guys brought it to a new level. That was OG.
Yeah.
Blaze Bets. Gambling Twitter seems like it's the most toxic it's ever been. Also, probably true. But again, we've kind of evolved into like new territory now. In terms of my participation, I will never have any issues with calling people out. And in fact, if you know what you're doing, I would encourage you to call other people out because people need to hear your voice. I mean, there's good and bad to it. Obviously, you engage with someone and it builds their following or whatever. But if you want to just post cryptic messages or, do's and don'ts or whatever, and you're able to educate, I'm fine. There's a DK DFS account. You know which guy I'm talking
Love
about?
DK
Love that
DFS.
account.
Great guy.
Dream. That was, kind of reminds me of me. That's why I like him. I'm a little bit arrogant and egotistical for sure. But yeah, hold someone's fucking feet to the fire if they're doing stupid shit. So if people want to view that as toxicity, sure. But if my friends were about to join a cult where they were going to have to fucking drink some Kool-Aid at the end of it, I would really warn them not to do that. Like when bad shit is happening in society, we warn people. If there was a door-to-door salesman selling some sort of fucking scam, I'm going to tell all my neighbors, hey man, like the person coming to the door is a scammer. That's the way the world works. So if you view it as toxicity, fine. But the message needs to be said by certain people. It sucks that we have so many of these fucking scam artists in the space nowadays where you have to say it. But that's just what the space has become.
Yeah. Well, also, like, we know that how Twitter works. It's just going to feed you up stuff where people are going, disagreeing with you, calling someone an idiot. So that's probably just the algorithm feeding it to itself. I feel like you can say this about any Twitter niche, though.
How do
Not
I
scammers calling other people scammers, but like just things going awry every day. It's what is it? The two retards fighting meme?
Yes.
That's what a lot of it is.
Yeah,
Anyways.
the gambling Twitter seems like it's the most toxic. Part of that is also just how the algorithm works, right? Also, when you think about toxicity, okay, I engage with someone. I tell them they're an idiot. They have a huge following. Let me use just a random example. Alex Caruso. Okay? Just randomly. Let's say I respond to one of his tweets. I am now going to get a large number of responses. Some may defend Alex Caruso. Some may defend me. But then what's going to happen is a lot of people are just going to argue with one another online. And then Elon Musk's algorithm is going to be like, well, this original post is driving a lot of engagement on my platform. Guess what? We're going to feed it out to the masses. And that's why it's toxic, because it's intentionally getting fed out that way. People interact. That's the way it is. Blame Elon as much as anyone else.
I feel like Jeff's got something to say.
No,
you're like holstering it right now.
I just don't know how to phrase it properly.
Okay.
So I don't know if I already screwed up once in this show.
What did you screw up?
I
Crossed his legs too many times.
Fuck. Shit.
Buddy, you think I give a shit? Like, next step for me is vasectomy. Like, it's not even got to work
You're going to do
anymore.
that before you see a naked girl?
Right? That's a bold move.
man.
I've been putting that off long enough.
Are you going to get the reverse vasectomy too?
No, we got enough. But I just, now it's got to time it perfectly.
Yeah.
Where, like, not prepared. The master seems too soon. But one of those situations where, like,
Mastering what? Domains? What?
the masters.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were still talking Seinfeld. Anyways.
Where, like, okay, you have to sort of be lying down for a few days.
Yeah.
But I want to be whatever. Never mind.
I'm so confused right now.
Anyway, I could cross my legs. Vasectomy is next.
Okay.
All right, up next, we have 6 year anniversary, I guess we'll call it. TJ Hernandez says, this week, 6 years ago, your favorite DFS tout magically became a KBO expert overnight. This was, of course, it was the real start of the COVID pandemic, especially in North America, when things started to lock down. Sports stopped taking place, but sports that continued were things like the KBO. Korean baseball. Joey Kanish, who's on the Friday show, says, vividly remember this. People that couldn't tell the difference between North and South Korea started posting KBO locks because there was nothing else to talk about or bet on.
Jeff,
I don't wanna
you for
talk.
sure were ripping
No,
KBO.
I'm not talking. I'll get everyone in trouble if I talk.
You for sure were ripping KBO.
They kept us in our fucking homes.
Yes, that's true.
I'm not. You don't want me talking.
Okay, I will say this. I remember this time very clearly because we were kept in our homes. There was nothing else to bet on. Nowadays, when you have all these sports going on, ask a random friend, okay, how they do at sports betting or like what they're good at. Everyone is kind of like I bet on everything, but like I'm really good at basketball, or like everyone has like a thing that they're really good at, that they think they're really good at. Maybe not. You now take that away from everyone. and there's very finite things to bet. One of them being KBO, which is baseball, North American sport, people bet in. And now all of a sudden, everyone is good at it. Everyone's handicapping it. I bet so much KBO at that time, and so many people that I know were sending me KBO plays. It legitimately, the only other thing to bet on was Joey Kanish doing push-ups, if you recall that.
Yep.
150 push-ups in 15 minutes, failed miserably. That was an easy bet.
How did he not? By the way, that's not that hard to do.
His form was pathetic.
That's not that hard to do.
Sorry, what was it?
150 and was it 15 minutes?
I think it was 150 in 15. I could be wrong.
Jacob, back me up. That shouldn't be that hard to do.
150 push-ups in how many? In
15.
15 minutes.
So you have to remember how this started.
I feel like, if you have time to prepare for that.
That should be pretty easy.
No, it happened quickly. Jonathan Bales, who was with Action Network or Sports Insights, whatever. He does Gambly now, Gambly AI. He took a bet and he live streamed it where there was so much action on this. I made, I don't know, I want to say a few thousand on it. He could do 2,400 push-ups in 24 hours.
That's tougher.
Okay.
Didn't he crush it?
He did. He ended up doing it. He got to a point where it was he said his body, he took too much of a break. He took a 3-hour break at some point. He's like, I couldn't physically but he did. And then Kanish's great idea was Bale's doing 2,400. I'm going to do 150 push-ups in 15 minutes. Or this. And then he had to record a video showing his form. And as soon as he recorded that video, I'm like, this guy has no hope. This ain't happening. And he failed miserably. But aside from that, there was nothing.
But
KBO was the best.
People's hubris really sparked in this era.
Yeah.
Because in seeing this tweet and then the threads and then reading through them, there was some good, even a quote tweet of one of the higher end DF services.
Yep.
Had this tweet we're working it. We got our people working on it now. We'll have KBO. We'll have KBO mastered in a week.
Yeah. Yep.
That level of hubris around this sort
it
of
really
stuff.
was an amazing time. I look back on it, forget about COVID and the world and whatever. Just from a betting perspective at this time, it was the funniest shit that was going on. The bets I would get sent, I spent so much time handicapping Madden simulations. I was simming more than the books were simming at that. And there were people who were simming more than me. I would get messages from people of this table tennis is good. And just think about that. And if I got that message nowadays, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? But this is all we had.
The prediction markets would have been so much more liquid.
Would have been crazy. Would have been nuts what you could have predicted at that time.
Yeah.
But I saw this and I was like, this is funny. Literally the people that I don't want to say the dumbest people I know. That's not fair. But people who have no understanding of how to bet baseball were giving me KBO plays. Yeah, it was really
chess betting was big too then too, because a lot of people were doing the online chess stuff.
Chess might have been. Not table tennis for sure. A lot of virtual sports took off at that time. People were betting on virtual camel races and stuff. That was all that we had.
Before we get into the last two topics, let's learn about a brand new tool that you can add to your betting arsenal.
If you're a bettor building your own models and you're not watching Kalshi and the rest of the market in one unified feed, you're probably missing edges. Prediction data aggregates and normalizes data from Kalshi, major prediction markets, and sportsbooks into a single API built for backtesting and live trading. You get live prices and historical data in one clean schema with no data engineering headache. If you want a trial key, you'll need to book a quick demo. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code to get your trial key.
Next one's up is from Jeff Nadeau. He says, I don't think we're doing enough promoting of gambling. Let's all teach our young sons how to gamble, or at least attempt to teach them a thing or two. In the end, they're going to do it anyways. As Kanish in Rounder said, the character, not the person on the Friday show, I was giving you a living, showing you the playbook I put together off my beat, and that wasn't enough for you. Operation Teach Your Sons How to Gamble. So I think this is satire.
Hashtag
It is not. It is. I messaged
not?
Jeff this morning to confirm.
But I thought. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just going to double check that he responded to me. It read as satire to me.
Well, it read as satire, but then when you see it's Nadu,
It's not
like,
satire. I genuinely believe that, and will teach my son. Is what he said to me.
Can I
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Was it
Ravel.
Yeah, who like, and didn't Nadu? I don't remember if Nadu was shitting on it, but like a lot of people were shitting on Ravel when he had his kid do
Yeah,
that.
I was gonna bring up the same thing.
Okay. You
Jared
go
Ravel
then,
did this
sorry.
with his kids. He set them up with like an app where like you don't actually bet money.
Yeah.
You bet like a fake currency, and people did not like that.
I mean,
I don't even.
I think there's a broader, listen,
Yes.
there is a real conversation about if your kid is going to find gambling, no matter, like
They will.
they're going to.
Yes.
16-year-old kid, 18-year-old
Yep.
kid, like TikTok, Instagram is most likely, or word of mouth from friends is most likely, in my opinion, where a kid is going to find gambling nowadays. Is there a case to be made that you're better off teaching them the ropes before they learn the wrong way?
I think like you've got to be pretty disconnected from your kid to like not see when they're gambling and then maybe show them. Like I don't know that you have to intro it, but like how much money can your kid actually lose without your there'll be a chance for you to get in there.
To be fair, like not really. Like let's say your kid moves away at 17, 18 for
It's
university.
happening a lot earlier now though.
Yeah. Oh, the
Like
gambling
talk to our
stuff.
boy Isaac, like the problems are starting like 10, 11, 12,
Yeah,
13.
Isaac just turned 14 a few weeks ago, so he would know.
But I agree, like when we were
Yes.
earlier, like yeah, it wasn't
Wait,
really a thing till maybe they were later.
Yeah. No, I think it's actually like I thought it was tongue in cheek originally, but I think it's a good point. I think there is something to be said here about learning things the right way.
But it's the same
Well,
thing.
okay,
Teach them how to
here's the
drink.
problem. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Teach them how to drink. Okay, that's a very different example. Because
Smoke? I don't understand.
No. But here's the thing, Jeff. All of us as adults know, like you drink too much, you're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah.
We all know that, right? Gambling. 98% of these kids' parents
I have no idea.
they have no fucking clue,
Yeah.
right? That's the issue. Who's going to do the education? I think of my friend group. Imagine my friends who think they're like Jason's buddies who never checked their P&L in their life before. But as soon as they check their P&L, they would be like, no, this is someone else's account. This is wrong. What are you showing me here? They're going to teach their kids how to get, like, this would be great if you knew what you were doing. But the population has no fucking clue what they're doing.
True. More of the dads would be like, just fade the public, son.
Exactly. You know, son, you want to look up these bet
Yeah.
splits.
Whoever Jimmy, Kyle, and Steve like, just play the other side. Okay, just play the other side.
I think a conversation of like
Yeah.
gambling is dangerous. It can be addictive.
Yeah.
You should be very careful. If you ever feel like you're going down that path, you can come to me and talk to. Sure, those I think are fine conversations. It's like the sex ed conversation that you'd have with a kid, right?
But like everyone's got to learn
Yeah.
that everyone's got to lose their own money line parlay.
yeah.
You gotta-
Everyone's got to go to their dad and be like, "God, Dad, I'm down $160, and you know that's like I don't know how much. It is a good thought experience.
You would hope that after you lose a couple money line parlays that
figure
you
it
think
out.
are free, like you'll quickly be like, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it is. I'm not going to have kids, so I don't know. I just have like.
Well, Nadu claims well, I shouldn't say never, but he's pretty anti too. But I have no problem for the exact same take, calling Ravel an idiot and being like, Nadu, you're my guy. Great work this morning, Nadu.
Same take, different person.
Yeah.
One's a moron.
I saw
the other-
Nadu. I got some TV time this morning. Crushed it as always.
Yeah,
Big
looked
fan.
Like Rico was rattled on that. I didn't even listen to it, but I just saw Rico was really stressed.
Kind of look like Rico a little bit.
I got to look. You could.
You got
match
the
me with a
beard,
few
the hair,
people,
like
sure.
no.
I don't see it.
Oh, okay, maybe not.
I don't see it.
Whatever.
Anyways, I think it's most important to know here that Jeff, great idea. Not you, Jeff. Sorry, Jeff Nadu. Great
Yeah.
idea. Not the first to come up with this. Friend of the show, Taylor Mathis, was, I believe,
boy.
you guys don't remember this? I'm pretty sure she got fired from like her writing
She
gig.
did, but that was
That was different.
that
No.
was different, and that
You're-
honestly, I stand with Taylor Mathis on
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
On that
That
one,
was
that's
a
what I'm saying.
complete
wasn't it a March Madness
March
bracket?
Madness,
Yeah,
and they were
she's
filling up
March Madness.
brackets.
Yeah.
They're just picking random
Okay.
teams to win based
She's
off
ahead of the curve.
mascots and stuff like
ahead
that.
of the
That was
curve.
a fucking joke.
I was just saying that she was ahead of the curve.
She didn't deserve that. She
I agree.
deserved the
I never said
repercussions
she-
associated with it. You were insinuating it with the way you said it.
No, I said teach your sons how. It's ahead of the curve.
You know what? I would say that it would be a pretty good investment for different
Yes.
state governments, provincial governments to put together educational materials
Yep.
on or some sort of curriculum,
Yeah.
which is just like so that they understand.
Well, but it's you could also say the same thing though for like people with personal finances and things like that. Like you don't get taught that stuff in school. It should probably be taught in school, but it's not, and you kind of just have to like figure it out for yourself.
No way.
It's true.
What? That you have to you can't just audibly no way and then not. No, this is that is
The picture.
It's
He's
on
looking
the
up the pictures
topic.
of
It's on the
Rico.
topic. You know, last night they lit the CN Tower.
yeah,
for COVID aware-
yeah. COVID long COVID awareness.
They
Day.
had COVID awareness. the
Long-
CN Tower.
long COVID
what
awareness
colors did
day.
they light it up?
I don't fucking teal. I think.
Well, anyways,
This country's a humiliation.
one more
ritual.
topic on the show today. Sports Gambling Hall of Fame showcased their next inductee of 2026, which is Fats, Real Fats, who we've talked about on the show before. I don't want to speculate to his current health condition, but they're honoring him in the 2026 class. What are the reactions here?
Good for him.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it. Good for him.
Well-
It seems if this seems like a big deal and it's important to certain people, so they should get the rub from it.
If you've only watched this channel before, you would know that we covered the Fats McDonald's stuff, which is not the light I want to remember Fats in.
No,
I've had
no.
plenty of other conversations with him, including at Bet Bash last year and for several years. And I know he's not in good health, so I think the timing is great. I'd love to see him make it for this induction. And I never worked with Fats, but those who do, especially Spanky, speak very, very highly of him. So when I saw this, I actually got a little bit emotional when I first saw this tweet, but deserved. Everyone who speaks about Fats speaks highly of him in a betting capacity.
I mean, a true like one of one. And when he, not like forgetting the McDonald's thing, that was a funny thing that was a running thing last year and on Twitter, and I think he even enjoyed it.
Yes, I think he did.
Like even in experiencing like well before that incident, like when he like he'd sniff something out like no one's business.
He knew he had.
Like
he
when
has
he
those
was
instincts.
a dog on a bone,
Yeah.
like he was relentless, and I loved it. I loved it. Like before this show, there was Fats holding people to account.
Yes. Yeah.
He was a legend.
Yep. I completely agree. I completely agree.
One of my favorite gambling Twitter moments was before I was even like ingrained as much in the space, but the elevator photo of him when he got stuck in the elevator.
With the atmosphere models.
The atmosphere models. It was so funny. It
Yeah.
was so good.
Yeah. God bless Fats.
It's funny.
Hope you're
Funny
okay,
stuff.
man.
Good guy.
All right, that
bless.
is going to do it on the show today. If you enjoyed the content, hit the like button. If you want to see more like it, make sure you're subscribed. You're listening in audio form, rate and view 5 stars. Wherever you are consuming the content here, do us a favor and support us there. Help us grow the brand, and we can give more for you from a content perspective. As always, we'll see you again next time.